How are we doing, guys? Been a while, so I figured I'd show my face and just have a little roundup. Obviously, as you can tell by me skitting between two viewpoints, that I've got two cameras set up. Not that I'm going to save this on my feed anyway. So, if you do jump in, good. If not, you're going to have to catch it on the pod channel, which will be up in the comments or in my stories as usual. Doing this one live from Sweatbox HQ. As you can see, moved in now, ready to rock. Everything's up and running. Gym behind me, fully functional. Still building some of the machines, but you've got everything in there that you can need. Jiu-jitsu room down the back, and kitchen area where I'm sat, which obviously has coffees, waffles, tea, hot drinks, protein shakes, anything you could want. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the new setup. You know, it's been good getting to settle in. It is a bit cold, but as you can tell by the fact that I'm not in my coat now, it's starting to warm up finally. Which, yeah, it needed to. It was pretty cold. Figured I'd hop on to chat a little bit about live events that have happened. Obviously in the competitive boxing world, just gone, and obviously relating to our team directly. So I figured I'd start off with obviously the biggest fight to happen in recent times, AJ versus Francis Ngannou. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can say to that other than that's what you'd expect a pro boxer to do to an MMA fighter in a boxing match. But it was still surprising in just how devastating it was. You know, AJ looked very sharp, and you could tell he was very calculated with his attack. I mean, pretty much within 5 seconds of Francis switching southpaw, he found the gap for the right hand that he needed, and planted Francis in the first round, you know, fairly heavily. And from then, you could see that Francis was reacting to every single feint that came his way because he'd seen the speed of AJ and he felt the power. You know, when you get hit like that, it can throw all your game plan out the window. I was very tempted to put a bet down for AJ to win in the first round. I did expect him to win. I didn't expect him to win in the first round, in all honesty. But I figured I would throw a punt on that. In the end, I didn't, because the odds weren't fantastic on it. Not for a little bit anyway. But my reasoning behind that was, if you watch the fight against Tyson Fury, literally the very first thing that happens in that fight is Tyson storms across the ring and lands a flush right hand on Francis Ngannou. He found the gap within the first punch of the fight. And obviously Tyson's not known as a huge knockout puncher, very big, powerful, skillful guy, not a one punch knockout artist. AJ, even though he's not as skilled as Ngannou, as Tyson Fury, far more powerful in terms of one punch knockout power. And when he let the right hand go, you know, that was the difference. You could tell straight away that Francis couldn't stand up to that kind of power, and the speed, the athleticism to get the punch there, cover the distance. You know, it was very impressive. And the final punch of the fight, that was absolutely brutal. You know, it was one of the best placed punches that you see. Really sat down on it, and obviously completely folded Ngannou. And it is always there's a part of you that feels bad when you see a fighter like this powerful athlete on the floor, you know, because you know that straight away there's going to be the memes coming out and there's going to be people trolling. And then Francis, you know, I like Francis Ngannou a lot, but the internet is undefeated. It's very, very fickle. So obviously, had that been the other way around, you'd be seeing the memes of AJ going around. It was very impressive. I think it sets up the fight between AJ and Tyson Fury very nicely. Francis now, I don't know what he's going to do, in all honesty. I don't see him fighting MMA because the money's not there for him. Potentially a fight with Wilder, both coming off losses now. Both power punches, so you're going to get another exciting fight. Who knows? That could be next. After the boxing, obviously you had MMA, where my accumulator got scuppered by one bet. annoyingly, and it was Gilbert Burns who lost the fight that I bet on. Again, picked I think 5-6 fights right, and that one I fell down on, and that's basically betting with your heart rather than your head. Obviously, Gilbert being an older guy, you kind of hope they can pull one more performance out of the locker. Wasn't meant to be, but again, small bet, so I'm not particularly salty about dropping out on that one. Outside of the actual professional world, a lot of our grapplers were due to compete on Empire just gone. Very good competition, so if you haven't checked them out, highly recommend it. You get a good level on the mat for literally every belt. You know, you're gonna get tested. And yeah, it was unfortunate leading up to it that 2 of our grapplers who had entered had to pull out. So we had 2 on there from our club directly, and then couple from IMA where I coach on a weekend as well, so it was a good overall team outing, and everyone did great. You know, it was good to see. We had some wins, some losses. Everyone handled themselves very well. Very proud of everyone. Danny in particular, literally all of his matches were highlight reels. They were insane scrambles. You know, he was absolutely spent because he put so much into winning those matches. Came back with a silver medal. But it's the best that I've seen him grapple ever. You know, very, very good performance. His takedowns were on point. His guard passing was great. His sweeps, you know, everything was good. And they're just really exciting matches. Lauren, unfortunately, in her first match, had the adrenaline dump, which you get, you know, if you're competing. Especially for the first time. You know, Lauren's never done any competitive sport before. First time she's out there, and the nerves hit, you know, and when they do, there's nothing you can do about it. So you could tell that, you know, she fought hard. She was stuck in a triangle for what felt like forever, and she gritted her way out of it. Lost on points, and then they called her for her second match very quickly afterwards, which is unusual. Usually you get a bit more time. And the second match she had no juice left because the adrenaline dump had hit. You know, you could tell. So unfortunately she got finished in the second match, but that's the nature of the beast. You know, first competition is never going to be smooth, and I'm proud of her, especially for the amount of grit that she showed in that first match, because that triangle was filthy and a lot of people would have tapped to that. Big Dan from IMA had his first match against a legitimate gangster who'd been in jail for, I think he was like the cocaine kingpin of Wales or something similar. Seemed like a pretty nice dude, in fairness, but yeah, he was a legitimate criminal. So we told Dan, like, yeah, go out and smash him, but smash him nicely, you know. Don't aggravate him after you beat him, because last thing you want is the kingpin of Wales wanting to smash you up. But Dan looked very good, especially for a big guy. You know, Dan's wrestling was on point. So the first match he dominated with strong takedowns and top control. He didn't give up control for 1 second in that match. Excuse me, while I'm drinking my coffee. And following that, he had a match where he ended up on bottom, and he got to show his bottom game, which you don't see a lot of from big guys that are used to being on top. But he smashed it. But yeah, he come off with a half guard Kimura sweep into a straight armbar. Absolutely smashed it. Again, very impressive for a big guy to do, because you don't expect big guys to be good off their back, because they're not on their back often. And then so Casey, who was going to enter for us, injured her thumb a few weeks out, so had to pull out, but she was there, very keen mind, scouting her opponents out for future, and I think she would have done well. Like, she's very, very dominating on top, you know, very scrappy, very tough. Looking forward to her being back healthy and back to competing. After the event, went and got some KFC, because at that point Katie, who had come along, was very hangry, and had we not gotten her food, there was a legitimate risk of her killing someone. So we got her some food, and everything was right with the world. It marked, like, it was a good day overall, because it's the first competition for the guys at IMA and Murfield, and they got their first medals to bring home, which was great. And obviously, being a relatively new gym ourselves, we've had a few more competitions, but again, it's always good to see our guys going out, some of our first timers as well, and coming back with some medals. Also great, you know, for them. and great for me as a coach to see. Following that, unfortunately, was the negative that my friend Johnny had passed away. Lost his battle with cancer, which he'd been fighting for 6 years. And it sucks, man. There's no life lesson to take from it. It was unfair that it happened to him at such a young age with kids. A lot of people that will try and find meaning through suffering, but you can't really find meaning in this. It just sucks. So rest in peace to Johnny. Heartfelt condolences to his family. He didn't deserve it. And it's hard to accept, I suppose, because when Johnny had got his initial diagnosis 6 years ago, they'd given him less than a year to live, and he'd gone into remission so many times, made miraculous recoveries, and when he posted recently that there was nothing more they could do for him in terms of drugs or anything like that, part of you is still holding out for the miracle because he's pulled back so many times before. But things obviously progress differently very quickly, and it's jarring how sudden it was, but that's just the nature of it. Cancer sucks, and rest in peace, Johnny. And yeah, that's about all that's been happening. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Obviously looking to get a pod coming on soon with Casey, being a nutritionist, to talk about sports specific nutrition and nutrition in general. So obviously if you guys have any questions that you want to ask her, I'm going to put a storyboard up for you to, as usual, go in and ask away. She's a lot of fun. So it'll be a good podcast. Hopefully we'll have Tom on there as well. Tom's like mad busy at the minute. I do want to get Tom back on because I enjoy, just hanging out with my friend and doing pods. We're getting to grapple a lot more now, which I'm really enjoying. It's just finding the time to also pod, which hopefully we will get going on soon. On a slightly more positive and random note, so being a dad, obviously, Rowan, as young kids do, they obviously pick favourites and it often changes, but it has been my turn to not be the favourite for quite a long time. And yesterday, out of the blue, Rowan just kind of latched onto me, which has stretched on into today, but with things that he's never done before, which was quite sweet. So when I was putting him down, he wanted me to sleep in his bed. So I had to kneel on the floor and put my head into his bed, and then he was asking me, "Daddy, who's going to get us up in the morning?" And trying to explain to him that I couldn't actually sleep there, but he wouldn't let me go for a while until he kind of nodded off, and then I went. He was grumpy in the morning that I didn't get him up. Then he wanted to play. He wanted to. So the thing that he likes, obviously he likes watching Paw Patrol at the minute. He does not want me sat next to him when he's watching Paw Patrol normally, because he likes to sit on my chair to watch it. And if I ask to sit with him, he's not a fan. But today he actually asked me, "Daddy, can you sit with me and watch Paw Patrol?" He was very adamant that he didn't want to sit on my knee, so we weren't there yet. He wanted to sit next to me, so we both had to squeeze into this little armchair. But I'll take it. It was sweet. It's nice to be favourite for a bit. I don't think it will last, obviously, but it's still nice. Makes a little change. Coming up, what we got coming up? So we're looking for a team outing to go watch Guerrilla Invitational. That will be good. Some of our peripheral members, not members directly, but share the mat with us and grapple with us a lot of the time. Visitors are going to be competing. It'd be awesome to go support those. It's fairly local as well. We're looking to. We just finished a beginner's jiu-jitsu course. So obviously, as is the case, we're going to have a little break before we start running that again. Always enjoy growing, getting more people on the mats. And we're going to be running an in-house submission-only competition here, which we're going to use to fund new mats. So we want to get some nice spongy 50mm roll-out mats that are going to be amazing to throw each other around on, be like landing on a cloud, but it costs a lot of money. So we're going to run this event, use that to fund the mats, and I'm very excited to do that. We're going to start advertising that soon, so keep an eye out. Be good to get a lot of people in to show some support. We'll do it nice at good price for people to join up, so that you can get some experience and help us out at the same time, which will be awesome. And we're going to have another grading day, which again I'm looking forward to, because there's a few of my guys that are due. How are we doing, Ella? A few of our guys and girls that are due promotions, and I'm notoriously slow, I suppose, or stingy with giving out my stripes particularly, but also belts. So there's definitely a few that are due belts, and there's more than a few that are due stripes. So I need to get me a roll of tape and start getting these people leveled up, which is overdue, but I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to do that in the next few weeks. Watch this space. I'll keep that advertised, because we want a good crew of people down there. It'll be like a normal open mat, lots of rounds, but in between that there'll be some promotions. So bring your belt when we set it up, because as with all promotions with us, at the end of it someone's getting whipped. So it's one of the most fun things to do as a coach. So yeah, looking forward to that. When we haven't finalized that yet, Ella. So basically I need to buy the belts and the tape. So watch this space. Once I've got those things, I'll let you know, because of course you're invited. It's probably going to be a Tuesday, because those are our best attended sessions. Most likely we'll do it on a Tuesday or Sundays. But yeah, watch this space, and I will keep you guys posted on that. And there was something else I was going to tell you. Oh yeah, so on a more want to whip them all, hell yeah. On a more funny note, so a lot of you guys have seen like polls are put up about like autism and things like that. So one of my friends and clients I was programming for her, Becca, diagnoses people with ADHD and autism as her job, and I had her in. We were just chatting in general, and she mentioned her job, and I obviously retorted that she must have an absolute field day working, like being involved in jiu-jitsu, because everyone's autistic. In which she responded, yeah, and then without a beat, she's like, has anyone spoken to you about yours? And it took me back. Like, I goes, no, they haven't. And she obviously didn't want to overstep, but she's like, oh, you've got some traits. Like, she would say like, oh, so have you noticed this? And I'm like, yes, I have noticed that. Or do you do this? And yes, I do that. And then she's like, yeah, I think maybe on the spectrum. So she sent me this test. Obviously, you can't self-diagnose. She sent me this test, which puts me on the lower end of the spectrum, but it would explain a few things, I suppose, which I in turn sent to a bunch of the jiu-jitsu people in our groups, and more of them than not were on the autism side of things, which again tracks, because jiu-jitsu, it's one of the prerequisites to be on the spectrum in some way, shape or form. It definitely levels you up. So I could in fact do with pumping my numbers up a little bit to increase my skill, I think. So I'm thinking about going on a very heavy vaccination course to try and promote some extra autistic trends and see if that improves my jiu-jitsu. I'll let you guys know, obviously, if it does. But if you notice like a dramatic increase in my jiu-jitsu performance, mind your business. It's probably going to be because of that increase in the autism. And yeah, that's basically all the things I wanted to go through. It's been a good few weeks on the whole, obviously minus Johnny. Yeah, I feel tired and sore, but I'm enjoying my training at the minute. Getting some good rounds in, lifting consistently, and looking forward to whipping everyone for these promos. So, as is always the case, guys, I'm not going to save this to my Instagram feed, because it's just me talking to the camera, and I always feel really awkward when it's just me talking to the camera. However, I will upload this to the podcast channel. Subscribe, please, in the comments. In the link in my bio. because it helps, it boosts, and if we get enough listeners, then they will pay us to push their stuff, which we will do unashamedly because we need the cash. So if you have something you want us to big up, then drop the bag, pay us some cash, and we will promo it for you. But I will also put up in my stories a soundboard, so if you want to question Casey about anything nutrition related or just about her in general, pop them in and I'll ask her. We're going to get her on soon, hopefully with Tom, but otherwise just be me and Case, having probably the most autistic conversation in the history of the world. Yeah, it'll be good. Right, folks, thanks for jumping in and watching this. I will catch you all on the other side. See you later, folks.